Hello and welcome to Stampin' by Hannah. Today I have a massive project for you. This is my Advent calendar for this year that's going to hang on my tree. At the time of filming this, I haven't put my tree up yet because it is only the middle of November, because I'm that organised. But when this goes live, I will make sure there's some pictures of this hanging on my tree. So, it's a really simple little, I think a lot of people call these like sour cream, I don't know, lovely little packets. And I did a large one a few weeks ago with the Moonlight Designer Series paper, and this time I've used the Trim the Tree, and it's just the most lovely selection of Christmas prints in Christmas colours in 6.5 by 4.5 size, which is lovely for card fronts but also for lovely little projects like this. So there are 48 sheets in here, in 24 different patterns. How convenient. So I've actually got one little treat bag in each different pattern, so no two are the same, which is just lovely. Oh dear, that's rather stuck. The sides of sticky strip are really sticky, and this has been sat for a couple of days just waiting for me to finish filming it. So these are all my finished ones. There are 22 of them here, and I've got 2 more to make in those colours. So I'm just going to move all of these out the way. I've got a handy little storage box just here. I'm just going to dump them all into, and I'm going to show you how to make it. So this wasn't, because they're not the same pattern at all, but this is 6.5 by 4.5, and all I've done is I've cut it in half. So these are 3.25 by 4.5, which is just, it's a tiny little piece of paper, isn't it? It's really little. And these are the patterns we want on the outside, so I'm actually turn them both over. And this is how I made all of these, and this is sort of mass-produced technique. I've cut them all, and then do all the sticking, and then do all the gluing, then do each step one at a time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my, you could use fast fuse, I'm going to use sticky strip for this, just because I just think the fast fuse, I got all a bit gunked up with the fast fuse. This is a little bit more controllable. So you want a piece of the sticky strip on the top edge of all of your pieces of DSP, and then you're going to turn them around long ways, and we're going to put a piece down each long side. Really, they're so simple, these, they really are. You could do these in absolutely any size you like. It's just that, I mean, they're so cute, aren't they? I was very pleased with myself when I decided to do this as an advent calendar. My James is just ecstatic. He's like, oh, got an advent calendar for my tree. He's so excited. You wouldn't think that he was 25. But, So, that is... Now I'm going to use my tweezers, because these are just a pair of standard eyebrow tweezers that I just think just make it so much easier to get the backing of the sticky strip off. So, and to make sure they're all well stuck, I take the backing off the sticky strip that's on the very edge, and we're going to roll this round, line up the 2 edges, and this, I'm literally butting this up to the edge of that sticky strip, and we're going to roll it over and push it down really, really firmly. And so now you've got a tube. I'll do that again. So if you take the backing off your sticky strip, roll it round, roll your piece of paper round, and butt your piece of paper up to the edge of that sticky strip. Make sure both the edges are lined up on either side, and just fold it over. And you get a lovely tube. A bit like a toilet roll tube, actually smaller than a toilet roll tube. I think the first ones I did the other day were about that sort of size. So now this is where your tweezers come in really handy, because you can then reach in and grab the end of that sticky strip that's going round. We then want to push these together. You've got a seam. You don't want the seam right on the edge because it'll pop. So if you bring the seam in and just line it up, push it down just like that, so you've got a flat side on one side and that seam down the other. This is the point where you put in your chocolate. These are all of mine. I've used a box of Celebrations for, and there's plenty left because there's loads in a box of Celebrations, isn't there? So, and I would use wrapped chocolates for this because you don't want, you know, if it gets warm, you don't want them to melt and leak all over your tree. So, now you've got your chocolate in there, take the sticky strip off the edge again and push your chocolate down. You could put your seam the same way. I just think it's really cute if it goes the other way. So if you need to sort of stick it together so that the two ends are sort of perpendicular to each other. They're going completely different directions. And that's one. The other one, we'll do the same thing again. So we're going to pop the sticky strip off of, I will pop the sticky strip off. We've got gunked up ends. I hate sticky strip, and sticky strip hates me, to be fair. There we go. So once again, make sure that that is not on a seam. Pop it down. Get your chocolate. I've got to say I picked a big chocolate here. The Maltesers ones are a little bit awkward to get in. Pop it in. Take the backing of your sticky strip off the other end. And oh dear. You need to make sure, I did have problems with a couple of these where the edges of the chocolate got caught in the sticky. It makes the next bit a bit more awkward. So make sure your chocolate's well down in there and pop that seam together. So then you have those. I've cut two lengths. I actually don't know how long these are. About 8 inches, just over 8 inches. Of baker's twine. This is the Whisper White and crumb cake that comes in the Tagger bag kit for Christmas. There is loads and loads of baker's twine on there. So I've cut about 8-inch strips of that, and I've got my handheld punch, and I've got the 1/4 inch one, which gives you a sort of standard sized hole punch hole, which may be a little bit big for you. We have 3 available. There's a 1/4 inch, an 1/8 of an inch and a 1/16 of an inch. I thought the 1/16 would be a little bit too small, but the 1/8 of the inch would, the 1/8 of an inch one would work. So we're going to pop our punch in about central, and my punch is really stiff to make a little hole like that, and we'll do the same on the other one. Let's just have a, you can feel whereabouts the chocolate is inside. Insert the punch in. You can see on this punch there's a kind of lip. You've got the kind of punch piece that goes through this lip, and then a hole where this piece goes into. So you want to put the piece you're punching in between that kind of holder piece really and the hole, and punch, which gives you lovely holes just like that. And I'm just going to insert the baker's twine through. And the way I've tied all of mine is I've put both the ends together, wrap them round and tied a knot that way. You could tie fancy bows if you really wanted to. You could tie them onto the tree directly. You could do all sorts. So we're going to put one end through and then bring both the ends together and tie a knot in them both. There we go. And then the last bit and I've already done this because I did them all at the same time, and they're actually all in slightly different colours. Some are in, the colours here are Cherry Cobbler, Whisper White, this pale green is Pistachio Pudding, which I didn't think was going to work very well. I want to call it Garden Green. Yes, I think it is Garden Green. Hold on. Yes, it is Garden Green. There's also Crisp Cantaloupe in here and Sahara Sand. So what I've done is I've taken Cherry Cobbler and Garden Green, and there are some Sahara... No, I think they're early espresso numbers. And stamped all the numbers from 1 to 24. I've punched them out with a 1-inch circle punch. I've actually used the Back to Basics alphabet stamp set, which was my product of the month from a few months ago, to stamp the numbers. They're punched out on a 1-inch circle, and I've put them up on a dimensional on a piece of Sahara Sand, which I've punched with the 1 1/4. Is it 1 3/4? 1 1/4 inch scallop circle punch. You'd think I would know by now, but I just can't remember. And then each one I've popped up on a dimensional, and I put all the dimensionals on the back first, and then I took the little treat bag. So there's a seam that runs from one side to the other. The sort of front is, if you can lay it flat. You can't lay it flat that way with that at the top. So pop this one on here because it's red, and this one on here because it's green. And there is some colour coordination, and this is the very last one. So it's number 24. And that, you can see, is my partner's Advent Calendar for this year. Super simple to make and really cheap and easy, because all I've really used is that DSP stack, which retails at, I think it's £7-ish. I will check, and I will have the information in the blog post if you go to the down bar below. That is my Advent Calendar, and I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.